Welcome back to the podcast. It is a Thursday, which means Thursday night football. Browns and Steelers are live right now. And, we're gonna talk about week 2 matchups.
We probably should talk about week 1 since we skipped last week's podcast again.
Listen, that's not my fault.
Whoa.
You went to Las Vegas instead of the podcast.
No, we had
1
3
day.
days.
We had one.
Before I left that we could have done a podcast. I mentioned it to you and said we should probably do a podcast because I believe during our last podcast, which was 2 weeks ago, I said, hey, we probably won't do another podcast for 2 weeks, will we? And you assured your fans, your viewers, that we would. And we didn't.
Okay, from now on, every time you mention it, I'll write it down somewhere.
Shouldn't have to write it down. It should be at the top of your head. This is important stuff.
I'm not going to say more important things because I don't like to say it is more important things, but I do have things.
We've gone from an absolute top-notch podcast to a train wreck in a matter of 6 weeks.
Everything has its highs and lows, and we're at the low right now. But
no, we are not at a low.
I am at a low right now, but we would take it back up. All right, so since, the Browns-Steelers games literally just started, we're going to talk about week 3 matchups and our predictions for them. So, Yeah,
what did we do with our predictions last week that we didn't make? Are we 0-16 or are we 0-0?
0-0.
That's the easy way out.
What, do you want to be 0-16 then?
It doesn't matter.
All right. Steelers-Browns.
Oh, we're making picks now?
Yeah.
What the heck? I thought that was at the end.
No. We gotta make it now, because what if the Browns score, Steelers score? Then it's kind of biased a little bit.
The Browns are going to win because Mitchell Trubisky stinks.
Also, Nick Chubb is good. Nick Chubb will probably carry this game. Bills-Dolphins.
Bills.
Bengals-Jets.
Bengals are struggling, but they're due. Bengals.
Jets.
No.
Yes.
Joe Flacco's going to win 2 games in a row?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he will. Raiders-Titans.
Don't get me started on Titans. I know we're going to talk about it in a minute, but Raiders. That's a battle of 0-2 teams that are supposed to be good.
Yeah. There's many teams that are supposed to be good, and there's many teams that should not be doing as well as they are. And we will get into that later. But Saints-Panthers.
Saints.
Ravens-Patriots.
Ravens.
Lions-Vikings.
Vikings.
Lions.
Interesting.
Eagles-Commanders.
Eagles.
Chiefs-Colts.
Man, the Colts are another team that's just struggling. I don't understand that one. Chiefs big.
Yeah, Chiefs. Texans-Bears.
That's a gross football game.
Yeah. Bears. Jags-Chargers.
The 1-1 South leading Jags?
Seriously?
No, but that's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Jags are leading the South right now.
Yeah, I don't know how.
San Diego Chargers all day, every day.
All right, same here. Chargers. Rams-Cardinals.
Cardinals are also struggling. Got lucky to get a win last week. Rams.
Packers-Buccaneers.
I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. Packers.
I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, but this game is not going to be a good game. Every single wide receiver sucks. Mike Evans got suspended. Chris Godwin's hurt.
That's why I picked the Packers because...
And every Packers wide receiver is terrible besides Allen Lazard, and he's not even that good.
Brady started out slow. His best wide receiver's out. His best 2 wide receivers are out. I think it's the Packers.
Falcons, Seahawks.
Another gross game. I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Falcons.
I don't know. Hold on. Where's that game at? That's in Seattle. I'm going Seattle.
It's at Seattle.
Seattle.
I still think Falcons. 49ers, Broncos.
Another gross game, because what is up with the Broncos? You know what? I think there's a 49er resurgence with Jimmy G. I'm going with the Niners.
I'm telling you, Jimmy G's going to make another Super Bowl run.
No.
It's just going to happen.
It's not.
He's Jimmy G.
That's right. That's why there won't be a Super Bowl run.
Exactly why
Jimmy
there's going to. Okay, I'm going to go 49ers and Cowboys and Giants.
The 2-0 East leading Giants, which, that's gross. Man, I gotta go with the Cowboys.
I'm gonna go Giants.
Okay. I don't think you're right, but that's fine.
Alright, so we had some disagreements. But I mean, let's get into the teams that we both feel that should be doing better and feel that should be doing worse, I guess, or we're surprised about.
Well, can we go back to week 1? Let's just start on week 1.
Okay, let's start.
The Tennessee bleeping Titans. I'm out of my survivor pool after 1 week. I put all my faith in the Tennessee bleeping Titans. And you know what they did? They left it up to the kicker. You never leave it up to the kicker. Never, ever, ever. And they did. They had the ball. One, they were up 13-0 at halftime against a horrid team. Absolutely horrid Giants team. Giants take the lead late, fine. Tennessee drives it all the way down the field. They're at the 27-yard line with 18 seconds to go. No timeouts. And they got conservative. They didn't play to win. Unlike the Giants, who went for 2 and could have lost the game right there. But no, they played to win and went for 2, and it worked. The Titans, on the other hand, get to the 27-yard line with 18 seconds to go. And instead of trying to throw a 5-yard out or even a 5-yard crossing pattern and you can get up and spike the ball. No, what do? They take a knee. Ryan Tannehill takes a knee to center the ball and he loses 2 yards. And as soon as that happened, I knew the game was over. If you want to center the ball, guess what? You got a 250-pound tank in your backfield. Just say, hey, Derek, run it right there for us. And Derrick Henry's probably going to get 2, 3, 5 yards. Maybe he breaks one. But instead, you take a knee and you lose 2 yards, and then you run the clock down and spike it, and you miss the kick because they left it up to the kicker. I am not happy with Tennessee, and right now they're dead to me.
A lot of games actually came down to a kick. A lot of games came down to a missed kick, too. The Colts...
Week 1 was crazy.
The Colts-Texans game ended in a tie. Rodrigo Blankenship missed the game-winning field goal in overtime. Number 1, can we talk about the Colts really quick? How did the Colts lose to the Texans? We're counting it as a loss.
They've lost to the Texans and the Jaguars.
They got blown out by the Jaguars. Shut out by the Jaguars. How does this happen?
I don't know how for some reason, they can't beat the Jaguars. There's 2 games in a row they've gotten blown out by them.
Yeah.
I don't understand the Colts right now. With Matty Ice there, I thought they were going to roll this year. Jonathan Taylor's struggling to run the ball. Their defense is not playing well. I'm sure they'll be fine, especially because they're playing in the South, but they're a mess right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them.
So, I mean, to your point, though, other games, that Steelers-Bengals game was insane.
Yeah.
With the missed extra points, the missed field goals in overtime. That game was crazy. Atlanta puked on themselves in the second half like they always do, and the Saints came back and won that game. What else was in week? Oh, Browns, Panthers, what he kicked?
It was a
56-yarder.
58, 56.
To win it for the Browns.
A lot of upsets, and same with week 2. I mean, Browns lost to the
Oh my gosh.
Jets in an amazing comeback. What happened there with the
I
Browns?
wouldn't call that an amazing comeback. I would call that an epic choke.
Yeah,
I mean, you were up 13 points with a minute and a half to go, and then you give up a blown coverage, long pass for a touchdown, like the very next play. And then the onside kick was impressive. That was
yes.
a good onside kick. But yeah, the Browns should be ashamed of that loss. The Browns should be 2-0 right now.
The Jets should be 0-2 right now. I mean, Dolphins Ravens game.
Ooh, that
was a good game.
Tua.
Tua is the leading passer in the NFL right now. And I did want to apologize to Tua, because if you go back to earlier podcasts, I did not think Tua was going to be good. And sure, was it 1 week? Yes. But he did also play well in the Patriots game. So I'm going to count it as 2 weeks. Good job, Tua. You're doing well. Dolphins are 2-0. If you play well against the Bills, I still don't think the Dolphins win because it's the Bills. But
I'm pretty sure I said the Dolphins were going to make the playoffs because Tua was going to play well.
pretty sure you did say that.
I guarantee I said it. Pretty sure it's recorded somewhere. The Cardinals-Raiders game was crazy too.
Holy crap. On that, Raiders were up, what was it, 20-0?
They were up.
A lot.
They were up like 20-3. They were up a couple scores.
And then they don't score. They score, I think, a field goal. And then the Cardinals just come back. And that 2-point conversion with Kyler was terrible defense, but amazing from Kyler. I mean, he had the ball for 20 seconds and then ran it in.
It wasn't 20 seconds.
It was 20 seconds.
For real?
Yeah, there's a bunch of timers.
Wow.
20 seconds he had the ball running around.
Yeah, that was a crazy game. There's been some really good games.
It's just been a lot. And I love that. I love that there's been good games, crazy games, upsets, huge wins.
Okay, so after week 2, who's playing the best right now?
I mean, there's one answer to that. It's the Bills.
The Bills are playing pretty good. I can't argue that. I will say though, I told you this the other day, they refuse to run the football for some reason. I mean, I guess you have Josh Allen back there, but at some point in time, they're going to have to run the football, and they just can't do it. They don't even try.
I do want to say, though, against the Rams, they did run the ball a lot more than against the Titans. And I mean, that's because Josh Allen was throwing picks, which, some of those weren't his fault, but we're not going to get into that. They were running the football, and it seemed to be working a little bit. And I think it kind of slowed down after the rookie James Cook fumbled the football.
Yeah, they did go away from it. That's their problem, though. They go away from the run too quickly. When it's bad weather comes in the playoffs, you have to run the football. And we'll find out. You know who'd be really good on their team? I'm staring at him right now. Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt asked to leave the Browns, and the Browns said no. So, I bet Kareem Hunt gets out of there maybe 2 years-ish. 1 to 2 years, but
I think his contract's up after this year.
I think it is too.
So, I think we both agree the Bills are playing the best. How about the worst?
The worst. That's hard because there's a lot of teams that are playing really bad.
I think it's got to be the Colts.
I agree.
The Colts are a train wreck.
Even though they don't have the worst record, you tied the Texans and you lost to the Jaguars.
Right.
That division is the worst division in the NFL. You pretty much just played. They played last year's team. last year's two worst teams in the NFL, tied one, lost to the other, got shut out by the Jags.
Yeah, and in this week they play Kansas City. They could be staring at 0-3, and then they play Tennessee. They could be staring at 0-4 really quickly.
I mean, they needed to win those games against the Jags and Texans because do they have a pretty hard schedule? I don't know. I'd actually have to look at that. But I mean, if you can't win against the Texans and the Jaguars, you're not looking good at all. At all. I mean,
agree. They're in trouble right now.
Who do I think is coming up? I think it's the Lions. The Lions have been playing well. They played well against the Eagles. I think they lost by 3 to the Eagles, who the Eagles have been playing really well. Jalen Hurts has been playing amazing. But the Lions barely lost, and then they killed the Commanders.
Jared Goff is your quarterback.
I know that Jared Goff is your quarterback, but I mean, he hasn't been playing bad. Has he been playing Patrick Mahomes level? No. But
Jared Goff is your quarterback. That's all. All right, let's quickly go to college real quick.
College. All right, week 2, college football. We got Alabama almost losing to Texas.
I thought it was going to happen.
It should have happened. On the game-winning drive that Alabama kicked a field goal, one of the Texas players ran around the edge and was about to sack Bryce Young, and that was going to probably be most likely game.
And he whiffed.
And he missed the tackle, and Bryce Young goes ahead, scrambles out of the pocket, and runs for 20 yards, a Heisman moment right there.
It reminded me of the movie Varsity Blues. You ever seen Varsity Blues?
No.
It's football. It's about a high school football team. And there's a scene at the end where it's very climactic and they're driving for the game-winning score, and the guy is running into the end zone, and one of the defenders, they show him in slow motion, and he's fully extended. He dives fully extended in slow motion, and he just sails by the guy with the football. That's kind of what that Texas-Alabama play reminded me of. The Texas guy had him and dove and just flew right by Bryce Young.
Now listen, is Alabama still making the playoffs if they lose that game? Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, but it would have been good to see.
But it would have been good to see Alabama lose. You know, their momentum get shut down. I still think that their momentum was shut down a little bit after that game, because I mean, how do you almost lose to Texas?
Also, week 2, Scott Frost gets fired. That whole situation is shocking to me. I thought Scott Frost was going to come there and maybe not compete for national championships. I think Nebraska is past that at this point, but I thought he would come in and compete for the Big Ten West every single year and at least play for a Big Ten championship almost every single year. And what a mess that was. And I don't blame Nebraska for firing him, but absolutely shocked that he could not make it work there. Other things we know: Ohio State good, Georgia good. That USC pick I made looking pretty good.
It feels like, and it just feels like no one can stay in one rank, if you know what I mean. Like, the ranks are just getting moved around.
Well, that's because they're dumb and they do preseason rankings, which they should never do preseason rankings.
But even still, after week 1, there were teams in the top 25, and then now those teams aren't in the top 25. It's just being changed so much.
Well, that's because teams are losing.
Yeah. Who did Oregon absolutely blowout. Was it BYU? I think it was BYU.
I think it was BYU.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, it's the, I'll call it the preseason. It's the non-conference. They're playing cupcake teams. There haven't been a ton of big games. I know Miami and Texas A&M played last week. Ohio State, Notre Dame played earlier.
Notre Dame isn't looking that good.
No, they're not. But we'll find out a lot here in the next couple weeks because conference play starts this week, and I think everybody starts conference play next week. So we'll start to see some upsets. We'll start to see how good teams really are when they're playing within their own conferences and not playing Cupcake City. So,
I mean, I think by about week 5-ish, we should have a pretty good educated guess on who the best team is.
I think we already know.
I mean, we already know who the best teams are, but it's, it feels like we're starting off slow in college right now.
I think it's great.
But I feel like it can be better.
So before we go, should we do week 4 NFL picks since we probably won't do a podcast for 3 weeks?
No.
Okay.
No.
Great. Well, allegedly, we'll see you all next week. Highly unlikely, but
no,
we'll see.
No. Very, very likely. Keep this one on record. Keep this one on record. Not the last one.
I think you said this the last time. Record.
Listen, if you remind me, I will.
Again, it's your podcast. I shouldn't have to remind you to do your own podcast.
That's true.
All right.
That's going to be it.